Prince Harry's long and painful fight for safety in his homeland may finally be turning a corner, and for many supporters this moment feels both overdue and deeply emotional. After 5 years of legal battles, public scrutiny and personal heartbreak, new reports suggest that the UK government is now moving in Harry's favour, with publicly funded security during his visits to Britain likely to be restored. This development is not just about protection. It is about dignity, responsibility, and the basic right to keep one's family safe. Since stepping back as a working royal in 2020, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have faced a level of hostility and risk that few people can truly comprehend. Despite no longer carrying out official duties, Harry remains one of the most recognisable figures in the world, and more importantly, one of the most targeted. The decision to strip him of automatic UK police protection was never simply administrative. It carried serious consequences, both practical and emotional, and those consequences have been playing out in real time for years. According to recent reports, a review has found that Prince Harry now meets the criteria for taxpayer-funded security when he visits the UK. Sources at the Home Office have reportedly indicated that the matter is now effectively settled, describing it as a formality and stating that security is essentially nailed on for Harry. This shift marks a dramatic change from previous positions taken by the government, and it strongly suggests that officials are finally acknowledging the reality of Harry's risk profile. For Harry, this news comes after years of being told no, years of being forced to fight a system that seemed unwilling to treat him as an individual rather than a precedent. In May, a senior judge dismissed Harry's appeal for publicly funded police protection, leaving him with a reduced level of security that would only be assessed on a case-by-case basis. That ruling was devastating, not only legally but personally. In a candid and emotional interview with the BBC, Harry did not hide how deeply the decision affected him. He described feeling devastated, and he spoke openly about how the long-running security dispute had worsened already strained family relationships. He revealed that his father, King Charles III, would not speak to him because of the security issue, a statement that underscored just how painful and isolating the situation had become. What is crucial to understand here is that Harry never asked for special treatment. He has repeatedly made it clear that he did not ask his father to intervene or pull strings. Instead, he asked King Charles to step out of the way and allow the experts to do their jobs. That distinction matters. It shows that Harry was not seeking favouritism, but fairness, and that he respected the boundaries of constitutional roles, even as his own safety hung in the balance. Harry also made one of his most heartbreaking admissions during that interview when he said that, given the ruling at the time, he could not see a world in which he would bring his wife and children back to the UK. For a man who has spoken often about his love for his country, this was not said lightly. He expressed how much he misses the UK, how he misses parts of it deeply, and how sad it makes him that he has not been able to show his children his homeland. That sadness is something many people can relate to. The idea that your children cannot safely visit the place you were born, the place where your mother is buried, the place that shaped who you are, is profoundly painful. For Harry, it is not hypothetical. It has been his reality for years. After stepping away from royal duties, Harry and Meghan relocated to California, seeking a life where they could raise their family away from relentless intrusion. Since then, their visits to the UK have been rare and carefully managed. Meghan's last visit was in September 2022, initially for charity events, which then extended due to the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Archie and Lilibet last visited the UK in June 2022 for the Platinum Jubilee. Since then, the family has remained away, not out of spite, but out of necessity. Those who downplay Harry's security concerns often ignore what actually happens when he is in the UK. During his most recent visit in September, a known stalker managed to get close to him during a charity event. Even more alarming, that same individual came within feet of Harry again just 2 days later at another event. These are not abstract risks. They are documented incidents that validate Harry's fears and reinforce why his fight has always been justified. The possibility of Harry regaining publicly funded security could change everything. It could open the door to more frequent visits. It could allow Meghan and their children to feel safe enough to return. And perhaps most importantly, it could create space for healing within the royal family. Harry has never hidden his desire for reconciliation. In fact, he has been remarkably consistent and open about it. Speaking to the BBC in May, he said he would love reconciliation with his family and that there is no point continuing to fight anymore. He spoke about how precious life is and acknowledged the reality of his father's health, saying he does not know how much longer King Charles has. Those words were not accusatory. They were vulnerable. King Charles revealed in February 2024 that he had been diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer, and while updates have suggested his treatment has moved into a precautionary phase, the reality remains that this is a serious and life-changing diagnosis. Against that backdrop, Harry's desire to reconcile feels even more urgent and human. In September, Harry reunited with his father in the UK for the first time in 19 months. That meeting, brief as it may have been, was significant. It showed that contact was still possible, that bridges were not completely burned. Later, Harry told The Guardian that his focus really has to be on his dad, and that he is definitely closer to a visit home with his children. That context is vital when considering why security matters so much. This is not about ego or status. It is about enabling a son to visit his father. It is about allowing grandchildren to know their grandfather. It is about making reconciliation logistically possible rather than theoretically desirable. For Meghan, the issue of security has always been deeply personal. She has spoken about the intense scrutiny and threats she faced, particularly as a biracial woman entering one of the most traditional institutions in the world. Expecting her to return to the UK without proper protection, especially with young children, is not just unrealistic, it is irresponsible. The reported shift in the UK government's position suggests that officials may finally be acknowledging what Harry has been saying all along. That his risk level does not disappear because his role changed. That threats do not politely respect job descriptions. And that protecting someone like Harry is not a favour, but a matter of public safety and common sense. Critics who argue against taxpayer-funded security often frame it as a privilege Harry forfeited. But this argument ignores the fact that security assessments are meant to be based on risk, not punishment. If the experts have concluded that Harry now meets the criteria, then the logical response is to act on that conclusion, not to cling to outdated narratives. There is also a broader implication here for how institutions handle change. Harry and Meghan stepped back because they believed the system was not protecting them, physically or emotionally. For years, their concerns were minimised or dismissed. This potential reversal on security suggests that, at least on some level, those concerns are finally being taken seriously. For supporters of the Sussexes, this moment feels validating. It confirms what they have been saying for years, that Harry was not exaggerating, that his fears were grounded in reality, and that his fight was never about entitlement, but about survival and family. If publicly funded security is restored, it could mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where visits are no longer fraught with fear, one where Meghan and Harry can bring Archie and Lilibet to see their heritage, one where reconciliation is not just spoken about, but lived. It is important to remember that reconciliation does not mean forgetting the past. It does not mean pretending harm did not occur. It means choosing to move forward with boundaries, honesty and care. Security is part of that care. It is a foundation, not a reward. Prince Harry has paid a high price for speaking his truth. He has lost proximity to his family, endured relentless criticism, and been forced to fight institutions that once promised to protect him. Yet through it all, he has continued to speak about love, about healing, and about the hope of coming together again. Meghan has stood beside him through every step of this journey, prioritising their children and modelling what it looks like to choose safety and self-respect over silence. Together they have built a life that reflects their values, even when doing so meant walking away from everything familiar. The possibility of restored UK security does not erase the pain of the past 5 years, but it does offer something precious: choice. Choice to visit, choice to reconnect, choice to let their children know a fuller version of who they are and where they come from. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Prince Harry was right to fight. He was right to speak up. And if this decision does come through, it will stand as a powerful reminder that persistence, truth and courage can eventually lead to change. For now, supporters are watching closely, hopeful that this long-awaited shift will finally allow Harry and Meghan the peace of mind they have always asked for. Not special treatment, just safety, just fairness, and just the chance to come home on their own terms.